Hey, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in to Respectfully with Miss Pretty Young Thing. I'm your girl, PYT, and let's get into it. Y'all, the culture controversies. Hip hop is in a frenzy, okay? We got the Diddy trials that are underway. We have some breakthroughs on the Tory Lanez situation, as well as some violence that came right before it. But God works in mysterious ways. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, we have the mockery of Emmitt Till. So many different things are happening in this day and age right now. The culture is in a frenzy, and I definitely want to talk about as much of it as we possibly can this evening. What's good, everybody? My name is Miss Pretty Young Thing. Take a seat, but before you do, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I was about to say hit that fave button. Lord. Woo! I'm over here streaming on multiple platforms. Y'all make sure that y'all add me on the Meet Me platform. Make sure that you follow me on Twitch and make sure that you subscribe on YouTube, okay? So, of course, tonight we have my boy, Bag Santana, in the building. Who's going to be joining with the discussion tonight. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm blessed as always. Blessed as always.
Hey, all right. So we got a bunch of topics to talk about tonight.
I got you.
So of course, there's the Tory Lanez situation. Everybody knows about him getting hurt, which led to some people speaking up. We're going to talk about that. We're going to give our opinions. We're going to talk a little bit of facts. And I have a couple articles as well in regards to the Diddy trial that we know the jury has been selected. Everything has started. Poor pregnant Cassie has testified. Stuff is going up and stuck. And then, of course, when it comes to the reality TV side of things, they are making a mockery of Emmitt Till. Then they're apologizing. Then people still have their jobs. I don't know. It's a lot of moving pieces. But first, let's go ahead and talk about Tory Lanez. So, apparently, Tory Lanez got hurt in prison. Everybody knows, his circumstance. Free Tory, in my opinion. But
Facts.
it's giving right now. Okay, so this is how I feel about what's going on. So, of course, Tory got hurt in prison. He was, I want to say it was multiple men attacked him.
One.
If I'm not mistaken. Okay.
They only said one.
Okay. So he was attacked in prison, which led to the driver / bodyguard of Megan Thee Stallion's friend. I can't recall her name. Speaking up and speaking out. Apparently, he never signed an NDA. He was never in a legally binding contract that would keep him from spilling out. But the question is, why is he spilling the beans now? That's one. Two. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
In the press conference, the attorney for Tory Lanez said the guy stepped up because once the injury happened to him over the weekend happened. He said he felt so bad because he knows there's an innocent man in jail and that happened to him. So he couldn't keep it quiet no more. That's why he wanted to speak up at that point.
Fair enough. That definitely makes sense. But he knew that before he went to jail that there was an innocent man in jail. God forbid something worse would have happened to Tory that'll had him in critical condition or even no longer with us. Then you would have waited too long. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's one of those things where it's just like, I feel like he's low-key. I would hope that Tory's lawyers are smart enough to figure it out, but I feel like I watched enough Law and Order to feel like there's some sort of a withholding of information, like some sort of something needs to happen for him to have had whatever information. But then at the same token, how can they make it viable in court so that it's not just like hearsay? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the friend's name was Kelsey. Her name was Kelsey. I don't know the last name, but her name was Kelsey. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. It was a lot of missing pieces in that whole trial when it was going on from the get-go. And a lot of us knew that. But be that as it may, what transpired. But I do feel like go ahead and bring my boy Tory home immediately. You know what I'm saying?
That part.
Like within the next 48 hours he need to be out of there.
Honestly, I feel like for one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when it came to the process of the trial, due process wasn't given. I'm so sorry. They did not treat this trial as fair as it should have been. For one, they should have questioned why Homegirl was asking for full immunity before she even testified. For two, they should have asked themselves why only one person is being jailed when multiple people had gun residue on their hands. Three, I want to say that body cam footage was never released. And the question is why? Because at the end of the day, if no one can get their story straight, the one thing that can get their story straight is the body cam footage.
Absolutely. And I feel like a lot of people that I've been reading a lot of the comments under a lot of the thing on social media between Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all of that extra stuff. At the end of the day, I see a lot of people still saying, y'all pick a side. First, y'all said she didn't get shot. Now that she done got shot, now y'all pick. It's like everybody has the right to their own opinion because none of us were there. Right. Only maybe 4 or 5 people were there at the most. But at the end of the day, what happened was the woman got injured and she said that this man did it. The man tried to prove that he didn't do it. It became a battle of the sexes, if that makes sense. It was like all the women came together and was like, look, we gonna stand behind her no matter what happened. And also the bodyguard, basically, he stood behind his client. He was Kelsey's bodyguard, so he protected his client. I feel like that man deserved a raise at the midst of it. But also, it was like, how could Tory protect himself in that situation? I know it wasn't just the fact that Meg Thee Stallion got shot. It was also the fact that him being a convicted felon and being around a firearm is what also added on to his situation.
His consequences, right?
Yes.
But I think what always didn't make any sense to me is why Tory took the blame for something that he didn't do. Like, I feel like out of him, Megan, and Homegirl, she had the least to lose. So it's like, why would you sacrifice yourself knowing that you're a convicted felon, knowing that this could put you in the situation that you're in right now, or even worse, depending on, how the judge is feeling. Like, why did he put himself in that predicament in the first place?
We all wonder that sometimes when somebody gets in trouble. We always wonder why you did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know. He probably was intoxicated, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Lack of judgment, probably felt safe around her. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, look, I'm gonna just ride with y'all. Yeah, y'all got a gun. We celebrities. We ain't about to just get pulled over randomly or nothing and get searched. I should be good. He wasn't expecting that situation. But from my understanding, wasn't it the 2 women the one that was fighting?
Right.
Hey, that's one of them let me walk away situations. This is why a lot of people don't.
And that situation adds up to what the bodyguard is now saying. Because child. Okay, so let me see. Do you have do you know the summary of basically what the bodyguard is saying while I try to pull it up?
Yeah, I listened to him. He starts off by saying the bodyguard spoke out. I want to say what it was, Sunday or Monday mornings. He spoke out after Tory Lanez got injured in jail, and while he got injured in prison, the bodyguard said he felt like he wanted to protect his client, who was Kelsey, and make sure that she was straight, which is why he never spoke up or wasn't even present during the whole trial. So he didn't want to, you know what I'm saying, get her in any harm from what he says. But he obviously overheard them saying what the truth was, which was Kelsey ended up firing the weapon at Meg Thee Stallion, and when she fired the round, she fired like 2 or 3 rounds. What's his name? Tory Lanez came in and swatted the gun down from behind her, knocking the gun down, and it ended up firing an additional one or two times. I didn't hear because it was a transitional video, but it said it fired an additional couple times once the weapon hit the ground, and from there he tried to move her out the way. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, he was trying to protect Meg the Stallion more than harm
Right.
her. And he's never touched it because that's why his DNA never was on it. He just swatted up out of her hand.
Exactly. There would be no fingerprints in a
Mm-hmm.
SWAT. More than likely
Exactly.
was this part of the hand, regardless. So it's one of those things where what he said
Mm-hmm.
honestly made sense to what I thought happened at the beginning. It just, like I said before, it never made sense to me as to why he would be willing to throw his entire life away for these two girls that clearly would not have did the same for him, or else they would have told the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the truth would have had him and Megan on tours living their best life. And
Mm-hmm.
respectfully, Kelsey, this is on you. I don't know what Kelsey like got on Tory. Like, I don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
she gotta have something on this man. Like, I don't know
It's
what it could possibly be. I don't know if she was pregnant at the time or claiming to be, and he didn't want her to have the baby in jail. Like, there's so many ways that we can flip this, but
yeah.
only Tory knows the truth behind why he did what he did.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, he still should be looked at as a hero because at the end of the day, if that's what the bodyguard said, if what the bodyguard is saying was actually true of what happened, he was actually the hero in the situation to where Meg Thee Stallion didn't get further harm happen to her. But yet and
Right.
still, this man is in jail. Like, I'm not a complete, you know what I'm saying, belligerent. Like, hey, you still was in a vehicle with a weapon. So yeah, you're gonna get certain amount of punishment. But should he
Right.
take full credibility for the whole situation? No. But whatever Kelsey did, or it's crazy. It's sort of like one of those DV situations where a lot of people don't want to break it up. You got two best friends arguing and doing all of this fighting, and I don't want to break it up because y'all gonna be back friends tomorrow.
Right.
And now I'm gonna be the bad guy, which is exactly what happened to Tory.
Mm-hmm. Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Basically what happened. Honestly, it's a bad position to be in. I am hopeful that the bodyguard testifying will kind of sort of make a difference. Maybe the ruling could be overturned. Maybe it could be deemed a mistrial since this is another conflicting story and they really
Mm-hmm.
don't have any real concrete evidence to keep this man behind bars in the first place. It's
Facts.
literally just a circumstance of he is the felon in the situation, therefore he gets the
Yeah.
punishment, and that's not
Yeah.
really fair.
Right. But even if like they do still say, yeah, we're still gonna punish him for the being a convicted felon in the presence of a firearm, cool. It is not a 2 year sentence. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely not a 10 year sentence. So I feel like he should get credit for time served. And if not, I feel like he need to. If they what the bodyguard said, he needs to be looked at as a hero because he saved Meg Thee Stallion. And I need that apology to be just as loud as them tears you was doing in that courthouse. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
go on ahead
Yes.
and give my dog his just due.
I
But
agree. I agree. I
but
agree.
but I know how the judicial system work. I know in a lot of those cases, the
Hmm.
person that lied on under oath still don't get punished, but that would just end up putting Kelsey in the prison, and on top of her going to prison, shouldn't make the stallion pay at least a fine at bare minimum, or he should be able to get a lawsuit out of her or something for slander to the name, defamation of character, something.
Right. I agree. I definitely agree. But how can they punish Kelsey if they've already given her immunity though? Can that be
Mm,
withdrawn?
that was see, and
Because
that's the
I feel
kicker.
like, are there any circumstances that would withhold said immunity?
I feel like I don't feel like nobody should have an immunity above the law because once you are the person that did a crime and they were so advocate about saying that this man did it, knowing who really did it, I feel like that should be stripped away from you, and you go ahead and take your charge. Because this man just
Definitely.
gave almost 2 years of his life for something. He almost gave his entire life behind something
Right.
that he didn't do.
Right. Like he's literally beyond behind bars, and they weren't able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt for him to be guilty in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Evidence does not point in his direction. Stories conflicting each other, and
Mm-hmm.
now a whole new testimony that paints the picture that everyone thought was the situation in the first place, which was a jealous friend
Right.
on a whole rampage, and him
Yeah.
trying to be the hero, which
Yeah.
sucks. But honestly, I'm hoping that before 2025 we get a little bit of justice for Tory
Yeah.
Lanez, because
Right. And
it's a
also,
lot.
and also just to throw a little extra commentary on it, you know what I'm saying? Free Chris Brown too, because all he did was say free Tory and he got locked up the next day. That's crazy.
I don't understand what's going on with that. So why?
He was at Club London or London's Club or something like that. And
Mhm.
allegedly he hit somebody across the head with a bottle back in 2023. Now,
Okay.
if you know anything about Chris Brown, you know, even back with the Drake situation, there was a lot of bottles being thrown when, you know what I'm saying, him and Drake had their little misunderstanding in
Hmm.
a certain club. So I do believe bottle throwing is in Chris Brown's
Mo.
character. Yeah, that hey, I hate to say it. Once you get it once, you gotta hey, if anybody else say it, you gotta take that charge, my boy. But be that as it may, they locked him up off of charges after that. I'm just mad that it took him 2 years to go. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know where he was at. He done did multiple tours. Y'all could have been went and got him.
Exactly. Yeah. But the justice system be taking its time.
Mm-hmm.
Be taking its sweet time. So free Chris Brown, free Tory,
Mm-hmm.
free gang in them. For real, for real. Now, P. Diddy
Mm.
trials. I think today was day 3.
4.
Day 4. Have you
Yeah.
been watching? Have you been tuned in?
Yes. Yeah. I've been staying in as tuned in. I haven't been watching because I don't think they're actually showing
Oh,
any of the
yeah,
footage. But I've been following as much as I can, and
yeah. Okay.
I should have been taking notes because I know different things were said on each day, and it's only 4 days. And I know day one they started off with one thing, day two they poured into another three, and then today I haven't read off what they did today or what was said, but I've been following as much as I can.
I'm gonna pull off what I can from CNN as far as
Okay,
what's factual, and then we can kind of sort of just bounce off of what we recall from and how we feel.
that's fine.
So basically, all together, y'all, Music Mogul. Let me go ahead and put that up real quick. Music Mogul, the mogul of music, Sean Diddy Combs. Okay, he is on
Mm.
trial. If you did not know. All right. So it reads right here on this. Hold on, where is it? CNN website. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs' trial began today. This is 3 days ago in New York, where he faces 5 counts, including 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking, SEX trafficking, sorry, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Okay. If convicted, he could face life in prison. He pled not guilty to charges. Now, to me, the fact that he pled not guilty, I want to know what the hell his lawyer got that could prove that he ain't guilty.
Mm. Right.
Because I'm
Because
here like, the only thing that would make sense is if they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that everything that was done was not necessarily a crime, but was
mm,
done by the voluntary of the people speaking against him, like to kind of
right,
sort of cancel out their credibility. That's the only thing
right,
I can see. But if his lawyer
right.
can't do that, then he going to jail.
Yeah, but also in most of the offenses like that, especially with the RICO case that they're trying to hit him with, is like who just opens up as I'm guilty. Let's go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes at least allow me to put up a fight. So if you just say guilty, there is no need for all of the, you know what I'm saying, dog and pony show that they got going on. So yeah, I would put at least give me a chance to put up a fair fight. So I don't blame them. I'm gonna at least say that.
I agree. When it comes to the U.S. justice system, it's literally law is a practice. Law is a practice. They literally just playing with your life, and they on the corner shooting dice, and either they gonna win all the money or they not. So that's just what it is. So basically, the trial did go underway. P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puff, whatever it is that you want to go ahead and call him by, all of them, all of the versions of him is on
Mr.
trial.
Freak
A
out.
bunch of Mr. Freak Off. Hello. Dozens of civil lawsuits from men and women who allege that he drugged and SA'd them. Okay. His trial proceeds in Manhattan courtroom over the next several weeks, and they're keeping us up to date. Okay. So let's start from, they did the jury selection on Cinco de Mayo of all days.
Hey, my favorite day of the year.
Okay. So basically from there, at a Southern District of New York courtroom in Manhattan, presided over by Judge Subramanian, however you say that.
I'm
Judge
trying to see where you're at.
I'm looking from Cinco de Mayo right here. Of New York courtroom in Manhattan by Judge Sub. Okay, potential jurors are questioned, blase, and they've been airing the widely seen video of him dragging Cassie down by that elevator of that hotel. Because remember, it was that footage that went viral that caused all of this to spiral in the first place.
But can I pause you for a second right there? Like when it comes to Cassie, before we even speak on what she said and claims she's been through, ma'am, why are you allowed to say something if you got paid what 30 M to, you know what I'm saying, not say nothing? Me personally, like this is me. If I get paid 30 M's, I don't even want to talk. Hey, I done did my job. Y'all go ahead and figure out the rest. But be that as it may, she done got paid 30 million from this man and still showed up to court to testify even more. Like, ma'am, you pregnant, you got a husband, you done moved on with your life. You can, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I done told y'all enough. Because me personally, my strong belief is Cassie talked to the feds prior to the feds moving in on Diddy. This is just my strong belief. Because it's too coincidental that as soon as she got her settlement, within 2 weeks, that's when they kicking in Diddy's door to go in and get those 1,000 bottles of baby oil and all of this. And I'm a strong believer, like, I watch enough Power to know if the feds want you, the feds got you. You know what I'm saying? Right. They not going to come get you until they got a strong case. And it's not just going to be a Monday morning, a random Monday morning, and we're like, oh, yeah, we're going after Sean Diddy Combs. Let's just go kick his door in.
Remember they got him basically on the runway trying to catch his flight at Opa-locka Airport in Miami.
Right. But they had all, it takes a couple months, maybe a couple years for them to, hey, let's build this case up so that way we know we got enough before we go kick in your door. And like I said, it's going to be longer than 2 weeks or so. So I'm pretty sure they needed Cassie to testify and tell whatever she needed in order for them to build a case on them a little further more. So as soon as she heard that, hey, they're about to move on them, let me get my bread about this real quick so I ain't leaving here with nothing. I'm going to help the feds, and then boom. So at least she left with 30 M's. I give her that. But I do feel like she was the one that helped them sort of niche things together.
Now, I feel like exactly what you just said is probably what his lawyer is going to point out as well. That the same person that's speaking against her is the same person that volunteered their services at the beginning and then, didn't make it loud and clear, I guess you can say, that they weren't in it anymore. You get what I'm saying? You know how there's always that cloudy judgment between voluntary and involuntary, or whatever the case may be. So I'm interested to see, well, not see, but hear about, since we can't see it, how that's going to take place. I'm actually very, very, very shocked that they are not in the courtroom for this. I thought this was about to be some OJ Simpson stuff, like we reported live.
Yeah, but I think it's because of the fact that of the harshness of what they got to go into detail and saying, and they don't want to have that type of stuff on TV. That's the only reason why I can see them not sort of televising it, because everybody's asking why is Diddy's kids there.
I was just about to get into that. We know this is not family-friendly content as far as what is being said about the man and what is being accused of him or whatever the case may be. And they even, I want to say it was Diddy's lawyer that asked Cassie's husband and the father of her, you know, soon-to-be newborn to not be present. But your kid's there. Your kids are there to listen to everything that this lady has said that you have done to her. Like, why is it that her man can't be there, but your kids who were, Cassie was their age when she met you. Right. So it's like, what's up with that?
And I've thought long and hard about that situation. I don't know if it's just out of respect, but at the end of the day, it's like, I figured he would probably not want to be there. I wouldn't want to be there, honestly, if I met a woman and I'm going to court and I'm hearing the things that she's saying she did and she's carrying my child and I'm married to her. I'm mad. I ain't gonna lie. I'm mad because, bro, I got to go home with a little bust down tonight. And I gotta make her feel secure.
You know what's crazy? I just argued about that with somebody yesterday. I was like, I know it was P. Diddy's lawyer that said that he shouldn't be in the courtroom, but I wouldn't want my nigga in the court. Sorry, I wouldn't want my man. Sorry, you two. I would not want my man in the courtroom to hear any of that. Like, I don't know. When it comes to, everybody handles their vulnerability different, but I'm not like a wide open book when it comes to the things that I'm most vulnerable about. I'm more of a take stuff to the grave type of person. So it's one of those things where, like, one person may be their cup of tea to make sure that their partner knows anything and everything about them. But in my mind, you judging me, you looking at me crazy if I tell you my ex made me go through some stuff, like some stuff that I never want to be revisit in my life, and we pillow talking. You just like, what kind of stuff, babe? Oh, I remember one time he had me choo-chooing across America with other people, and they were golden and showering me.
Right.
I don't think that's something that I want to tell a man that wants to propose to me.
I mean, hopefully, me being a mature, understanding type person, hopefully she told him all of this before the court. You feel me? Because even if he's not there physically, it's still going to be all in the tabloids, all on social media, all of this. So he's going to get wind of it. But hopefully he at least knew what he signed up for. You know what I'm saying?
Like, let's sit down. Let's talk about this.
Yeah. So at least by him wanting to be there, he wants to be a good husband and he wants to show his support. You feel me? Like at the end of the day, I wouldn't want, if I was married, I wouldn't want my wife standing up there reliving some trauma that she done been through or however she feel about it. I don't want her to feel like she's alone up there when she has to look that man in the eyes and don't see me there to let her know that she's safe. So I definitely, that's why I say I pray that she actually told him this prior to, just being logical speaking. Because if that's his first time, Lord.
No, for real. Dead serious, for real. So this part goes on to say that potential jurors also asked that they recognize the names of a number of celebrities, including actors Michael B. Jordan. What he got to do with it? Robert Downey Jr. What the hell did Iron Man do? Mike Myers. I don't know how he ended up on this list of Negroes. Rappers Kid Cudi. I can't wait to hear him. Right. Young Miami and Kanye West. Need we say more?
I'm ready for Kanye West. Let's just fast forward to Kanye's part.
I am extremely interested to see what he got to say in
Yeah.
regards to it, or whatever the case may be. But my question is whether or not P. Diddy's lawyer is going to try to take away his credibility as far as trying to say that some of the things that he says can't be credited because they're just social outcries and him just saying whatever because of the things that he's been through in his life, especially with his recent outburst. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes Kanye West can lose some sort of credibility, but I guess it would depend on how they're able to prove that there's nothing that Kanye West has said that hasn't been truthful. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. And singer Michelle Williams. Now, what this Destiny's
Why
Child
she? Oh
got
no,
anything?
she was part of the R. Kelly situation on the documentary on Netflix. And she is like, she's always in the middle. But this church going woman is always there for the weird stuff. Asking for a friend. I'm sorry.
I mean, to me, it's one of those things where when you see P. Diddy's name, you think Jay-Z. When you think Jay-Z, you think Beyonce. When you think
True.
Beyonce, you think Destiny's Child. So more than likely, out of the three recent members of Destiny's Child, the one that'll want to speak on it would be a Michelle. I don't see Beyonce on that docket, and I doubt Kelly Rowland would drag herself into this.
I mean, when you got names like Jay-Z and Beyonce, we all know they were present and such, you know what I'm saying? But we don't know what role they played in it, but we know they were present. We know way bigger names than what was just mentioned were present at a lot of those situations. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna throw a couple of them out there. You got your LeBron Jameses, your Kobe Bryant's that was probably there for a time or two. God rest the GOAT. But you have plenty of other people that Chris Brown's was there. All of these other celebrities that were entangled into these freak offs, as we say, or parties. But at the end of the day, I look at it like this. You know good and well Jay-Z and Beyonce not about to put their name in it. No, I'm not showing up. I don't want no parts of it. No matter what, if whatever I say I experienced or do that, I may lose money. That is a multi-billion-dollar family household that you got over there. I'm not. But Michelle, like I said, it's just odd that she keeps showing up in all of these big Mongol, you know what I'm saying, situations and having something to say. And it better not be nothing innocent because I'm sorry. Me personally, you was at the R. Kelly situation and you was like, it was kind of weird seeing these young girls. Now you over here with P. Diddy and you say it's kind of weird seeing it. No, ma'am. It's kind of weird you at both of them. So we need to know the truth.
Definitely. I definitely agree. Don't know what to expect her to say, but I'm open. I'm all ears. At this point in time, I'm all ears. All right. So those are the names that they name. It is unclear what connections these people may have to Combs' case. So that's where that part starts. Some of them sketches were real interesting. Did you see some of them sketches that they had as far as the courtroom goes?
Yeah. One of them, the two that stuck out the most to me was the Cassie and how pregnant they, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how far along she is, but that was one that stuck out to me. Excuse me. So with that, it's like they got her. That I think that was part of what makes a sympathy type ordeal for the jury, seeing this clearly pregnant and happy woman. That one right there. Seeing this clip because they did too much on that stomach. I ain't gonna lie. They got a basketball in that picture.
Man.
But seeing, just imagine you're a juror and you're coming in there with a clear conscience, and then they put Diddy's gray hair in there in the background of it to sort of make it look like he's trying to intimidate her while she's pregnant. So they want her to look like she's so happy after she'd have moved on from him. She finally has her first child. She has a husband that can't be there. It's sort of like a, you know what I'm saying? I sort of see that, but then also the one where you just see Diddy with all of the gray hair. Look at her. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful woman. I ain't gonna knock her.
That belly a little out there. I ain't gonna hold you.
yeah, it's out there. but the way they drew it, it looked like a basketball. I'm sorry, her back got a little roundness to it on the picture, but no, it's like I get it. Like you want to paint this certain image of certain things. Like y'all didn't have to put Diddy in that picture. It's like
So P
y'all.
Diddy really in that courtroom without his Just for Men?
Hey, look, a lot. You ever heard that saying? You ain't ugly, you just broke. You know what I'm saying? Some people look better when they got money. You can
Man,
afford better teeth, better hair care, and all of this. So hey, so
dang. But basically, that's what happened day one when it came
mm,
to Cinco de Mayo.
mm,
Now, May 12th. May 12th is when opening statements began.
mm,
Okay, federal prosecutors are accusing Combs of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in cross dilution. Okay, if he is convicted on all counts, the hip hop mogul could face life in prison. Combs, who has been in federal custody in Brooklyn since his arrest September 2024, has pleaded not guilty to all charges. That's what happened May 12th. May 13th, 2 days ago, Cassandra, aka Cassie Ventura, Combs' ex-girlfriend, took the stand and the star witness in the first day of testimony. Ventura accused Combs of physically and emotionally abusing her for years, exerting control over virtually every aspect of her life. Most of the time, she said she was dominated by Combs' FOs, candy fueled, multi-day marathons. That part got me.
mm,
Of sex with cross the poots, and he orchestrated and directed. Whew.
mm. So
Jack.
we're talking about day one of the trial, right? This is the day
Yes.
when
May
the
13th is day one.
urination in the mouth and all of this was first introduced to the courts,
The
and
golden
everybody had to,
showers. Yep.
yes. So we had to hear all of this. And I'm sorry, I'm a big Boondocks fan. And I do remember Riley saying, if you don't want to get peed on, move.
Move out the way.
So with that being said, as a man, I'm sorry. I have all the love and respect. I understand how a lot of these situations they are becoming a battle of the genders and all of this, and a lot of women are taking their side and stuff. But I'm not saying that certain things. I'm saying at the end of the day, I would rather, and I'm looking at this as if my daughter was in that situation. Baby, call daddy. If you ever in a situation, I don't care how scared you are, call daddy. I'm
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
I like I don't want you to go through nothing that you don't want to go through.
Yeah.
I know you have a friend, a family member, somebody that you can tell to come get you. I understand how
Mm-hmm.
powerful of a man Diddy was, but if you really didn't want to do that, at some point it sort of looks like you did that for that fame and that money. You feel me? So that's just me. But the father in me says I feel bad for her because if she was truly too scared to leave, I feel bad for her because nobody in her family made her feel safer than she feels scared. You feel me? I
Right.
feel like everybody in her family and her surrounding friends failed that woman because you should be strong enough to know my family members got me. Somebody
Yeah.
got me enough to get me out of this situation.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. It's I get it. It's a woman going through something that she probably isn't proud of nowadays, but her reliving it and having to tell it, it's like, look, on one hand, it looks like you was there for the money and fame, you was ready to do whatever, and then on the other hand, it looks like, okay, you were scared and you reliving this and all of this. But baby, somebody should have, hey, look, ma'am, come on, we gonna get you up out of here. I don't care what this man do.
Right.
We going straight to the police office. Not now what he gonna do.
Right. But at that same token, I feel like, the people who are least empathizing are the people that think that, when you have money, you're able to escape certain situations easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep having to remind people that Diddy had this lady in a 10 album deal. And out of her
Mm.
entire music career, she only put out one debut album. So did Cassie have the resources to escape? I highly doubt it. Where would have Diddy not been able to find her at?
No, it wasn't that. It's the fact that, all right, so when we say, I understand she got a 10 album, what you call it, but when you type Cassie in, let me go to artists first. Boom, Cassie. And then you scroll down the albums. She got that one album in 2026. Diddy is known for signing people to one album, you know what I'm saying, deals. How many albums did the band have? How many albums did Day 26 have? How many albums did Machine Gun Kelly have underneath Bad Boy Records? Diddy is known for a quick hit and run. Biggie didn't make it past 2. You know what I'm saying? And one of them he wasn't alive for. But be that as it may, that's just Diddy. But that's why I said, yeah, she might not have the resources to get out of the contract, which if I'm fearing for my life, I don't care about no contract. I'm cool with that. I can go record music without being in a relationship with you. I can record music without doing these freak offs with you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't need to be around you in order to drop these albums that I'm not dropping.
Okay.
You feel me? So as long as I'm under this contract, that's what it is. That's what's holding you there. Again, call daddy. Daddy coming through. Just walk out that gate. We going straight to the police station and we gonna see what happens. You know what I'm saying? That $30 million lawsuit could have probably been $100 million if we could have, you know what I'm saying, acted a little faster. And probably would have prevented a couple other people that went through whatever they went through with Diddy. That's just that's like I said, that's just me thinking.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it depends. Domestic violence, DV situations, they're all different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the reasonings behind the people, I'm not going to say the women because men can go through it too. The people that go through it, you know, the reasonings behind them going usually has to do with them being scared, usually has to do with the resources not being there for them to be able to properly escape, has to do with, you know, some sort of a, what's it called? Stockholm syndrome. You know, different things, because Cassie can't deny that there was a point in time where she loved him and she thought that he loved her too. You know what I'm saying? So, and then women, we have this tendency to think that people gonna change. You know, she probably got smacked the first time. It was just like, oh, he ain't ever gonna do that again. Then got smacked the second time. It's like, okay, I might have did something wrong this time. Got peed on the next time. It's just like it just turns into a whole vicious cycle. And she didn't even realize it was wrong until she realized it was wrong. You know what I'm saying? She probably didn't think that she could escape because, you know, maybe the guilt of her staying this long, or even, you know, the hope of it coming to an end, but didn't realize that there was no means to this end. You know what I'm saying? Like, even like he had full control of this lady's life. You remember that article that came out about her shaving the side of her head because he said so?
Yeah, but the thing that killed me was she met him at the age of 19 and they became, you know what I'm saying, lovers and stuff, 19 or 20. You feel me? So he basically took advantage of a young girl, which I am very compassionate towards. Like that's why I'm very compassionate towards her in her situation. Because like you said, it's a lot of different variables that can go into a young lady dating a older man with a lot of money. So I do feel compassionate for her because of that. But it was just the fact that at 19 you meet this man. It sounds so R. Kelly-ish. You know what I'm saying? Like at that age, you're I can make you a singer. I can do all of this. You promising me this. And she's put out multiple albums past the her You've Been Waiting So Long to Give Me. Yeah, she been put out a couple other albums.
Long Way to Go is my ish. So I know she definitely did have some other hits.
Right. But it's like with that, it's like when it comes to her, she was very young maybe naive, maybe had that Stockholm syndrome that you said, and all of this. But I do feel like that's what having friends and family in your corner, because no matter what, you're supposed to be able to go back to a family member and be like, look, I don't feel safe over there with this man. It just ain't it. I can't tell you everything because maybe there's an NDA. Well, clearly there's not because she's in court talking. But whatever it is, you is somebody should know all of this. And she's had plenty of interviews since the money situation. Once she got the 30 million, she's opened up a lot more, saying how she felt during the times while they was together. So I just feel like, ma'am, respectfully, go on ahead and put everything out there. It's gonna sound bad. It's a lot of people out there that be like, well, you could have did this, you could have did that. Yeah, but again, she was 19, 20, 21, and clearly she didn't have anybody in her corner backing her against this well-known man with all of this money. So I did, like I said, I still feel bad for her. But yeah, she had options.
So I definitely feel like age probably had a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because he met her so young, he definitely had the opportunity to groom her. He had her experiencing things that she probably never thought to experience at such a young age, all the way to the age that she's in, because she dealt with him for what the good part of a decade and some change. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we cannot discount that. Let me give an example. At the end of the day, if you were to meet a woman right now who is a virgin, fall in love with her, and y'all, live happily ever after, it won't change the fact that this woman isn't experienced.
Right.
Okay, which means you being the only man that she knows.
Right.
She can't just, kind of like a job. When you only got one thing on your resume, you're less likely to, be chosen for another position when against a person who got about 6 different experiences, years here, internship here, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So her not knowing nothing else, she looked to him as not just a mentor, not just a manager, not just the wielder of her career in the palm of his hand, but her lover, but her friend. There's nothing in my mind that can make me think that he didn't do one of those lure you with candy, and then once I got you in the van, then I torture you type of things. He definitely showed her the finer things in life. He definitely didn't just like hold a gun to her head. But by the time she realized that it was a trap, that's when she realized the gun was there the whole time. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. My thing is, when it comes to that, like, all right, we got Cassie, and we look at that list of names that are on the docket to appear and speak and all of that. I want to know why J-Lo name isn't on that list, because he was with her for about a year or two as well. So that way, if J-Lo's story applies and has something similar to what Cassie is saying, that would give more, you know what I'm saying, more evidence and consistency of who he really is.
Now, the problem with that is,
Mhm.
allegedly, J-Lo is just as filthy as Diddy. Allegedly.
Exactly. And that was my whole point, because remember I said there's bigger names out there that need to go down right along. Like if Diddy go down, I'm not defending him. I'm sorry, I'm not defending him. Bro, you's a nasty dude. You look like one of them weirdos in the back of the class that everybody made fun of, but we knew who your daddy was, so we left you alone. But at the end of the day, it's a lot more names that need to go down right along with him. So instead of us having this year is Diddy, last year it was whoever, the year before that was R. Kelly, then it was Bill Cosby. Instead of us just doing all of that, let's just go ahead and air the whole building out. Let's just go and get at least 80% of them out of there, and we can clear it out. But I do believe it should be more names on that docket to come in and speak.
I definitely believe so, but there is a unnamed female that was on there as well. Hold on, let me bring it back up. All right. So prosecution's opening statement. U.S. AUSA Emily Johnson said that there was another side to Combs, the cultural icon who ran a criminal enterprise with an inner circle of people who helped him commit crimes and cover them up. Here's what else she walked through. AUSA Johnson detailed that Combs forced his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, to have sex with male escorts, filmed it, and kept the recordings as blackmail. So that goes back to what I said as far as him luring her in and then showing his beast later. Now, in my head, it's one of those things where there's two sides to that. It's either A, you're going to take it for what it is, and oh my God, this man's going to ruin my life. You got to remember, back then, Cassie was trying to be a superstar. Of course, she don't want that to taint her record. We're dealing with Diddy here. At that point in time, bad boy was bad boy. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to get on his bad side, because if you get on his bad side, you're probably going to be blackballed from the entire industry. So in her head, I got to do what this man says. And then there's a person like maybe a you and I that's just like, F it, put that thing out there, because you're going to look just as dumb as I do. You know what I'm saying? But that can lead down a very deadly way, because if it's one of those things where when it comes to the music industry, I ain't going to hold you. Diddy, listen, Tupac not here no more. B.I.G. not here no more.
Right.
If Diddy is threatening me, it's giving, I have to sit down on my knees and just be one with the fact that I might not be here no more.
Right.
After I do, the opposite of what this man wants.
Right. And I'm going to throw out a fact that a lot of people don't know about Diddy. Diddy's father was, have you ever seen the movie American Gangster with Denzel?
No, but I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Yeah, but American Gangster is one of my top 5 favorite Denzel movies, by the way. But with that, Denzel played a gangster who learned under Bumpy Johnson, who was another well-known drug lord and gangster in New York. Denzel's character started off as the driver for Bumpy Johnson. Typically, the driver learns all of the moves and all of this and learns the game from the person that they're escorting around. Which, therefore, Bumpy Johnson passed away, and Denzel's character took over and became the next big thing, took it to a whole nother level. Denzel's driver was Melvin Combs, who later became Sean Diddy Combs' father. You feel me? So that's the type of lifestyle. Granted, he passed away at the age of 33, and that was when Sean Diddy Combs was 2 years old. You feel me? But some of that nature transfers into some children. You feel me? So especially when you hear about, you know what I'm saying, as a young boy, and your father isn't present, and your mom is going to tell you stories about your daddy. You're going to hear stories about your daddy in the streets and all of that. So that type of stuff makes some men want to become more like their daddy when you hear who your father was and what happened to him. So yes, I do feel like, a lot of people do get intimidated by, oh man, that's Diddy. You know what I'm saying? The streets talk, but the streets don't talk enough when they know you can get them gone too.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people in Las Vegas, Nevada right now that know exactly what happened. There's a lot of people in New York and Los Angeles that knows exactly what happened with Tupac and Biggie. So yes, I do fully agree with you. Like, just because he comes off as this, you know what I'm saying, my name is Love, and I'm take that, and doing all of this weird stuff, don't mean that he ain't got no, you know what I'm saying, he ain't got no juice. Because keep in
Right.
mind, he made 5 people walk from New York to Philly to get him a cheesesteak.
Lord, Lord,
Hey.
Lord, Lord. Honestly, you're right though. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Generational circumstances do exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I am aware of Mr. Combs's daddy's,
Mm-hmm.
ties to the industry, which I undoubtedly believe that that's probably why Diddy felt like it was his legacy to be a part of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
We know the Diddy story. Some of us have watched, the movie Notorious to know how Diddy came about and how he was around the Andre Harrells and he got fired from his first job and started Bad Boy, and
Mm-hmm.
Big was the first person to lay his career in his hands, and the rest is kind of history or whatever
Mm-hmm.
the case may be. But it doesn't change the fact that even that situation is filled with so many mysteries. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all tied around this same Diddy. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like there's no such thing as a coincidence. I feel like everything happens for a reason. And I also feel like, what goes up must come down. So it was honestly only a matter of time before, if it wasn't Cassie, it was going to be somebody, even
Right.
if it wasn't a partner or whatever the case may be. Think about how many times that P. Diddy had like a butler or a maid or a driver quit abruptly and started speaking to social media, but then went in silent because Diddy's people paid them off
Either that or they disappeared.
or they disappeared.
Right. Because it's a lot of bodyguards. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of bodyguards. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot that I want to say about Diddy. I don't have that much time, but it's a lot that I want to say about Sir Combs. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm getting over a cold. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, it's like with Sir Combs, he definitely had my boss mentality. So I can understand why certain people are scared of him, especially with Cassie being well known for dating Kid Cudi and her seeing what happened to his car. That's some stuff that we hear about or see in a movie. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
him blowing up a car and stuff like that. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. But that scares me to show you to see how much power a lot of these rappers and music moguls and stuff really have. So when, especially like growing up, I knew the Biggie and Tupac situation, but it wasn't a lot of rappers that was just getting unalived. See what I did there? For beef or this person, that person. But it was a lot of times where they get into it, but it'll be an even match.
Yeah.
But then when you see certain rappers get into it with a higher grade of rapper, sometimes, you know what I'm saying, that smaller rapper didn't make it no further.
Yeah.
If that's the best way I can say it. So yeah, we do understand how powerful Diddy was. Or it was, because he in jail now. He ain't calling no shots.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Now let me see what else this thing say. So, resources from Combs's business were used to actually exploit multiple women.
Mm,
The freak offs or the multi-day events that Combs allegedly orchestrated were women, including Ventura, aka Cassie, were allegedly giving candy and forced into unwanted X acts. Okay, much of the prosecution's case will focus on Ventura and another victim who will be identified by the pseudonym Jane Doe,
mm,
during
mm-hmm.
the trial. I wonder who that is. Now, you did say something about J Lo. Like I said before, J Lo, I heard, is worse. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I feel like the living proof behind that is J Lo can't keep a man to save her life.
I wonder why. But hey, also we got to think about Kim Porter too. Like I know she's deceased, but we also got to question what's going on with her. But well,
Mhm.
what happened to her? But it's a plethora of women. Like if we're just going off of big names, it's a plethora of women that I feel like that Jane Doe could be. Like I said, J Lo is number one on my list personally. Then not Young Miami because her name is listed as well because I feel like she got the most, how y'all women say, the most tea out of everybody. Or Carisha, she has the most tea out of everybody because she was there. She, you know what I'm saying, the most
Right.
recently.
Right.
And from there, it's a couple other women that I feel like it's somebody from Danity Kane that's really on that list as well.
Oh, I thought about that. Aubrey
Yeah,
O'Day.
yeah. I couldn't remember her name. I just remember her being part of Danity Kane. I feel like it's one of those women that's gonna come in and speak the most, or it could be the chick from the band. But I really feel like it's old girl from
One of the
Danity
Making the Bad
Kane.
Girls. I was
Yeah.
thinking whether or not the dudes from Making the Band were gonna come up, but now that we've seen the full list, probably not. And then like we know, it's kind of dehumanizing for a man who claims himself to be and knows himself to be heterosexual to own up to certain things anyway. Shoot, look what they did to goddamn Meek Mill.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So I can understand if men don't end up standing up in this circumstance.
Right. Because I feel like Meek Mill knows we all got a ballpark idea of what went on and what transpired with him. It was so many people that spoke out about him and their situation. So yes, I know Meek Mill, he's not gonna ever admit it. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping one of the Kanye do it one time for the one time, but somebody's gonna come out and mention his name, and that's gonna, oh my God. But we know Meek Mill's not gonna say nothing. I would love for Justin Bieber to say something. You know what I'm saying? All of the accusations. I would love for Usher to be on the list and come out and open up because I know he done seen more than anybody else.
I could have sworn he was on the original list.
Yeah, but a lot of people aren't. You know what I'm saying?
Like a couple months back
Yeah.
when he first got arrested, I couldn't remember.
But
I feel like I remember Usher being named.
yeah, but look, I got a few more minutes. But I'm gonna say this. Like based off of what I heard from the 4 days of what was said, we talked about day one and the urination and stuff. And then we turned around and we heard he paid people, the escorts. He paid the escorts. He didn't receive any money. So it's not any, you know what I'm saying, trafficking going on right there. If he paid them, if he was getting paid and then day three, she was saying how she would have to take so many uh RXs. I don't know what I'm allowed to say over here. I don't stream over here. But how she'd have to take so many RXs to be able to just be cordial with it and all of this, that speaks volumes for what went on.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, like I said, at some point she could have said, I'm not comfortable. And then they leaked the text messages and she had to read them out yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else read Puffy's portion of his text messages and she had to read hers and she was allegedly saying she's cool with it, but you can tell when somebody's scared. She, you know what I'm saying? I can't find the
Yeah, just because I say yes don't mean that I mean yes. It
yeah,
could be like some sort of a coercion, I guess you could say.
yeah. But at the end of the day, like she was honest to God scared. She was just going along with it because she didn't lead off with I'm so excited for Friday or Saturday or whatever. She just said just enough to make it seem like all right, it's cool.
Right, like let me
So
stay on his good side.
yeah, but I still believe that at the end of the day, ma'am, you should have been.
Child.
She should have been protected more.
I agree. But who do you run to when your op is one of the kings of hip hop at the time that you beefing with him?
I feel like, hey, all it takes is about maybe an hour. Within an hour, you can get to the police station and start making, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I know what you're saying as far as with the Diddy, Tupac and Biggie situation, but at the same time, hey man, at least me personally, I'm a survivalist. I'm gonna at least attempt to get to this police station, say my piece, and leave it at that. You feel me? Because I ain't going out like that.
Right. I get that, definitely. So let's finish up with this part real quick. So the 1st witness testimony came from a LA police officer by the name of Israel Flores. He's the one that came to the scene when a woman in distress call was put out when Cassie was found at that hotel in March 2016. Apparently, P. Diddy tried to pay him off, and he allegedly did not take the cash. He declined the cash. Okay. He said that he witnessed Cassie leaving the hotel with a purple eye. Okay. He filed a report on the incident, but didn't call the police because there was no victim because she was not pressing charges. I don't know what to make of that, because if you see her with a purple eye and there's
that's the police officer, right? That's the police officer, right? At the end of the day, that was one of the things I found intriguing, because at the end of the day, the police officer claimed he didn't get paid, but like you said, he didn't make any arrest or anything like that. And I know in the state that I'm in, compared to New York, the laws may differ a little bit, but where I'm at is any sign of a fight, like if the police open the door or if somebody open the door and you see black eyes, scratches, bruises, anything like that, somebody going to jail. If don't nobody want to say what happened, both of y'all going to jail. Because, or if both of y'all got scratches and bruises, both of y'all going to jail. You know what I'm saying?
I'm under the assumption that it's different in New York. I don't know if it's because of the population, the amount, the area that was in, the amount of times people call the police over there, if every borough is different. I don't know. I'm assuming, for the fact that he was able to say this loud and proud, that exactly what was done was legal in New York. Like, do you want to press charges, ma'am? Oh, you don't? All right, then have a nice day.
Right. No, that like I said, that's the difference, because there is no I don't want to press charges. Once a police officer where I'm at sees any type of physical injury or harm, she ain't got no bankrupt, ugly, no money on your car, somebody going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Because we clearly see that you've been harmed, and he gotta go, or she gotta go, depending on who made the call, because they don't just pop up at your house. Somebody made a call. So by them getting the call, they show up. But at the end of the day,
right.
But
definitely.
All right. I just feel like at the end of the day, that police officer failed her. Honestly. Yeah. That's one of them blink twice if you don't feel safe moments. You feel me? And he took a bribe, but he's not going to admit that he took a bribe for his job. So I go look at his tax credits and stuff like that from said year. Like, what all did he buy? Did he go buy a newer car? A boat. Yeah, did he go buy a car? Did he, you know what I'm saying? Did he go buy a bigger apartment or something like that in the past?
Did he take a week off so he could go on vacation real quick? All right. So the second witness testimony came from a Daniel Phillip, who described his role as a managing male slippers for women. Male slippers for women. Lord. Phillip will be back on the stand tomorrow meaning day 2. Here's what he said today meaning day 1. Phillip said he was called in 2012 and received money to have relations with Cassie. He testified to having relations with Ventura while Combs was sitting in the corner caster fading. Okay. He said that Combs would direct him and Cassie as they engaged and asked them to use baby oil every time. and Combs recorded them on one or two occasions. Philip said Combs once took a picture of his driver's license and said it was for insurance purposes, which he perceived as a threat. Listen, Philip recounted one incident where he saw Combs assault, well, I can't say that word, asphalt Ventura at her home, snatching her by her scalp into her bedroom. He said he didn't report the incident because he was afraid he may lose his life. So you see how even grown men were looking like, I don't know if I want to cross Diddy because of, the type of person that he is. This man took a picture of his license, which means he would probably have to move or at least hide out somewhere, because he can't.
He couldn't drive that car again.
Old house,
but that's a situation where Diddy was basically, you know what I'm saying, sort of pocket checking you because your license plate has to go with your car, and a lot of people can't just go get a new car. You feel me? And move like that to change the license plate up or anything. But that's all it takes. If I find your license plate, I can find out who you are, your address. That thing is registered to, and I can find you easily. So yeah, he made a business decision.
Right. Definitely. Them scare tactics was definitely working, it seems like. So yeah, that's how day one basically went. And then the next day is when the evidentiary matters were supposed to be taken into effect. So let me see if I can find day two. This is day one. Let me quickly see if I can grab the information for day two.
I got about 10 more minutes.
Diddy trial day two. Gotcha. For everybody that's tuning in, y'all, it's a lot of hip hop controversy, and we're going over it. Look at this picture, bro. The way that they got him in the corner is sending me.
Yeah, like it's and. That's why I say I do feel bad for this woman, but how can I put it in the nicest way possible? Like I feel so bad for this woman because I know what type of father I am and I know what type of man I am, and I would never want to hear my daughter go through that. But I always keep in the back of my mind, he got his kids there listening to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it as the defense attorney. Yes, it's better that your kids show up and sit there and support, but your children are sitting there hearing everything that you're accused of, and they're justifying, and like the defense attorney is justifying and backing up what you did and all of this. But your kids are hearing this like, Dad, at some point, you know what I'm saying? The defense attorney has to just go on ahead and be like, look, the kids don't need to be here for this. They don't need to be here for this, especially the little girls, because I know they're the underage children. So with that, it's like, I get it. You want to look like your family supports you, and I understand that. But at some points, it makes you look even more like a monster because your children are sitting there listening to the type of things you did, and they're just cool with it. You feel me? I don't know what their responses or their facial expressions are in court, but if they're sitting there just holding a straight face, that means they know more than anything. But if they show up and they're making faces and they crying in court, that shows you that, hey, they didn't know their daddy was this type of person, or they didn't know this was what was going on or anything like that. But that should be a big teller to me if I was a juror. I'm looking at the kids' faces every time something real crazy pops out. Do they face ball up? What goes on? If the kids are straight faced, oh yeah, he did it. He definitely did it because they know about it. If they up in there crying and not knowing what's going on and having these different faces, that says, all right, he probably did it, but at the same time, this is new to the kids. So that gives you a little bit of innocence. And at least they show up every day to back his daddy. So back their daddy. So that way, at least it gives him that somewhat of an innocent look, if that makes sense, to where his family loves him and he's a
Yeah.
good father. But that's just me if I was a juror.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely. Man, it's a lot of moving pieces, but basically, it looks like here is what they introduced all the freak offs.
Mm.
Right here, it does mention that she, as in Cassie, told the court that Combs introduced her to the so-called freak offs, where she had relations with male escorts while Diddy watched, directed, and recorded. These encounters made her feel worthless, she told the court, adding that she feared saying no would cause him to asphalt her. Okay, Cassie said Diddy controlled every aspect of her life and music career and often had his staff surveilling her. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
like I knew before, she was impression. The first impression had her starstruck, of course, because she was only 19 years old in rooms with Diddy, is
Mm-hmm.
being wooed by Diddy, is falling for Diddy, and all of a sudden the tables have turned. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
child. Honestly, I think what had me floored was the part where she mentioned like choking on golden shower,
Mm-hmm.
like multiple men golden showering at the same time, to a point in time where it was going in her nose. It was like she was literally choking on it. The fact that she was able to basically say that she's had more STIs, so many
UTIs.
STIs that UTIs, sorry, so many UTIs that she don't even know how many she's gotten, to a point in time where I don't remember what she said, but it was just like, that's traumatizing. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
very,
I can't
very.
imagine.
But I think, again, like I said, as a man, I get what the defense attorney tried to do. They showed the text messages the next day, and like in the cross examination, they showed the text messages where it said that she was excited about it and all of this extra stuff, and which led to from day one or day two where she was saying she was so scared to say and do certain stuff. Excuse me. At the end of the day, she is responding out of fear. But when you got that type of stuff going on, I feel like that's something that should be, oh my God, like, oh man, because it takes a lot for you to put somebody in that type of situation and you not caring about their well being. Like I'm sorry, bro going to jail. I hope he goes to jail. I'm sorry. I ain't got no
Yeah.
sympathy for him. But it's just traumatizing, like as a father of little girls, to hear a woman go through that, and that it just makes me want to go hug my daughters even more and be like, look, no matter what, no man gonna ever love you the way daddy gonna love you. So don't be scared
Yeah.
of nobody. uh, but it's just wild that she was in that situation. But a lot of people are saying, well, she texted this, she got paid this, they got paid, the people that did it got paid all of this extra stuff. So a lot of people overlook the in-depth situation of everything that went on. She's not comfortable. She's just saying what it takes to get by. She's doing what it takes to get by.
Yeah.
So, and then
Yeah.
again, I don't recall them saying a date or a age frame that she was at when she was doing this. So if
Yeah.
she was at 19, 20, 21, yeah, she's underage. Well, not, I ain't gonna say underage, but she's super young and naive to where
He's her
everything that he's
senior. Yeah.
right, and just over there influencing her to do this. So once she turns 28, 29, and she's like, oh my God, I shouldn't be doing this. This ain't it. Because nobody else is going through this. Even when she showed up on the red carpet with him multiple times, she didn't look comfortable. I'm not gonna lie to you. She didn't look comfortable. She didn't really say too much on a lot of those red carpets or big events. She was just there. So that's why I say I feel so bad for her, but I'm also happy for her
Mm-mm-mm.
because hey, she moved on and she became happy. It's a reason why she didn't have a child for that man. That should be the
Honestly,
biggest.
shout out to her man. Shout out to her man. Like you said, I would think that it would be a setting where before the trial started, that she opened up to him about
Mm-hmm.
all of the missing details that she may or may not have already told her, or who
Mm-hmm.
knows, maybe he took her for everything that she is and she told him from jump. He's a
Mm-hmm.
strong man regardless,
Mm-hmm.
because baby, that's a big void in her life that he is filling. That's a lot of trauma to overcome, especially in the public eye, with all of this scrutiny, with people looking at you like, girl, you
Mm-hmm.
could have left. Like, I don't understand how people can't just take the
Yeah.
time to accept that this is not your life and we don't care how you would have handled it. This is her
Yeah.
life and this is how she handled it. All
Yeah.
right. And then honestly, we're
Absolutely.
gonna see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't go in
Yeah.
vain. I don't blame her for snatching his money for all it is and then going
Absolutely
back
not.
and because it's one of those things where, okay, because a lot of people are just like you mentioned it earlier, that she took the money but then went to court.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the fact that, like I said before, the courts run slow.
Right.
And just like you said, they probably were collecting things for a long period
And
of time
if they would
on
have,
this
because
man.
yes, because what happens is if you get an FBI case or a federal case, they freezing your assets. So she wouldn't have got nothing if she didn't get her money when she did. You feel me? Like
That
if
part.
because again, like I said, two weeks to a month later after she got paid, the feds kicked in the door and was like, "Hey, look, we need this, and this. You know what I'm saying? We need all of that, and then we looking for you on this
Yeah.
plane too." So respectfully, that apology was cool because it was crazy. He paid the 30 M's and then the video came out, and it's like that didn't make it no better.
Hmm.
Like if even if by them having this court trial
I thought
right
that was
now.
funny as hell that he paid to not get that release, and
Yeah,
the
but
dude
they
was just
still
like,
dropped
"Psych,
it.
can't go to video."
Yeah, like bro, not now. Even when now that you going to court, the the jury is still gonna keep that video in mind. They're gonna hear. Think about it. Everybody in America, especially if you are of African American descent, you was hip to what was going
Hmm.
on. So they just picked the jury out
Yeah.
on Cinco de Mayo. Some of the people are already, their mind is already made up. I don't care what the legal standpoint is. There are some, I'm pretty sure there's at least one African American black woman and one African American black man on that jury to where
In that
they
jury of
already
his
know, yeah, he did
peers.
it. We know he did it. And then they from New York too. They know how he moved. So yeah, he's already guilty with at least two minimum votes. Don't let it be
Yeah.
multiple African
Yeah.
Americans. But at the end of the
They knew
day,
what they were
bro
doing,
going down.
putting 8 month pregnant Cassie on the stand. He is going down. Another thing that I wanted to ask you, out of the names that I mentioned earlier that are on the docket to speak against Mr. Combs, who are you looking most forward to hearing from?
Kanye. Kanye. Because I feel like Kanye is the most
What do
unorthodox.
you think
Like
he has to say?
who?
What do you think he has to say?
That's the beautiful part about Kanye. We don't know. We do not know at all. And if you know Kanye and like really know Kanye, you know Kanye is unorthodox. He will come off the top of his
Mm,
head and probably give some scenarios that we probably didn't think about. We don't know if he rock with Diddy. We don't know if he's against Diddy. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what he got
right.
going on. But I feel like Kanye is against Diddy because Kanye's still trying to make sure he can get his kids. So if he sides with Diddy and he can't get, you know what I'm saying? You look like you've been supporting Diddy this whole time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Kim K might be able to keep the kids away from you a little longer, my boy. So I'm sorry. I feel like he's gonna say some unorthodox stuff, but it's not gonna be in Diddy's favor.
Hmm.
But I also want to hear what everybody else
I
say.
I think for me it's Kid Cudi.
Mm.
I want to hear what Kid Cudi got to say because I feel like him trying to take Kid Cudi out is definitely some points against Diddy.
Mm.
And as far as the credibility of what Cassie has to say, Kid Cudi's testimony supports Cassie's testimony because of the fact that it gives like controlling man trying to set a standard for the woman that he is in control of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely do.
Because,
But
like,
the thing,
man, when I tell you, Kid Cudi is God's favorite for not being in that car, like, what?
right? But you know, Kid Cudi had his suicidal moments and stuff like that. Like he had a lot of stuff going on as well, and he always said Cassie is
Which
the
he
reason
speaks
that he.
on.
Yeah, and he always said that Cassie was part of the reason why he's still here. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I look at Kid Cudi. It's some things about that I'm interested in hearing, but we already you see how we already know what happened. All we're gonna do is get closure to it on his point of view of what happened in that situation. That's why I put him at the bottom of the list of who I want to hear from. Everybody else, like when you said Michael B. Jordan, it's like what he got to say. When you say Iron Man, it's like what do he got to say? What he got going on with this? Even with Michelle Williams, it's
No,
like
I really want to know what my boy Robert Downey got to say.
exactly, especially with him having a big movie coming out with Universal or Disney. You know what I'm saying? Anybody getting caught up with, you know what I'm saying, Disney in court, bro, you know what I'm saying? You already got fired as Iron Man. Don't lose
No,
Doctor Doom too.
Disney be real quick to be
Yeah.
pulling roles. I mean, I'm
So
glad that he got to finish, what
yeah.
Stan Lee had in mind for Iron Man. He done saved the
No,
universe
no, no. The
before he
Iron
got,
Man, Iron Man gone. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? They ain't nothing. That's why he's playing Doctor Doom now in the new movie that's coming out next year. So Iron Man
right,
risked it
but
all for the Avengers, and he hasn't been in a movie since. You feel me? But at the end of the day, it's like that's why I'm interested in hearing what he has to say, and I feel like that further lets you know he's not gonna be on Puffy's side because, bro, I got a career to maintain myself. If I sit up there and say I partook in what you did, I'm about to lose M's myself. So I feel like him and Michael
right.
B are against Diddy. Michelle Williams, that's up in the air.
So what the hell does Michael B have anything to do with this? Like, he wasn't dealing with Cassie, was
But
he?
he was at maybe he was at some of them parties. Hmm.
Fair
You
enough.
know what I'm saying? So, and that's the thing, same thing I did. That's how I looked at everybody else. But Kanye, you know, he definitely was at them parties. Because we know about them Kardashians. You know what I'm saying? We know how they rock. They gonna do whatever it take to get famous and get their name out there. Anytime you over here making
Right.
tapes because you tired of being under Paris
And
Hilton's
and your
wings,
mama promoting them. And your mama promoting
you feel me?
them.
Your mama is the reason. So that's why I say I can't wait to hear what gotta say. Kanye ain't biting no tongue. You know what I'm saying? Big Easy. But I
That
gotta
part,
go.
that part.
I gotta go because I got a prior engagement. You know what I'm saying? I would love to sit here and say some
Definitely,
more.
definitely.
But next week, if we're going back over these topics, I still love to throw the DDG situation out there. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to throw a couple other topics
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
we definitely
And
gotta
we
talk
can
about that.
yeah, and we can also continue more on the Diddy and Cassie situation, and we could also sit up there and revisit the Tory Lanez situation. But by it being Thursday, I got a prior
Definitely.
engagement.
Hopefully more
I
updates by
appreciate you
then.
so much for having me here. You teaching me a lot. You teaching me a
Of
lot.
course, of
But
course.
yes, ma'am. But I
We
will definitely see you
outside.
around.
You have a good night.
You too. And
Definitely,
be safe this
definitely.
weekend, ma'am.
And Will, we outside, but we safe. Y'all, shout out the bags, shout out the bags, shout out the bags. We are here live talking about everything that's going on in hip hop, y'all. It's so much happening, it's not even funny. Okay, so much happening that it's not even funny. I put the link in the comments if anybody would like to call in. But while we do that, I wanted to go ahead and read some more that I saw happening within the courtroom when it came to the second and third days of trial, or whatever the case may be. Let's see. Cassie said that the freak-offs could last for 4 days. Combs controlled her life. From how she looked to what she did all day, which we did talk about how he did control, one day he just looked up and wanted the side of her head shaved because he saw the inspiration of some girl on the red carpet with half her head shaved. And what Diddy wants, Diddy gets. Several of her residences, he would show up unannounced. That's creepy. This is the picture of Diddy making heart signs to his relatives. Child. I know it's supposed to be like an emotional support type of aspect of family being in the courtroom, but that's crazy. My kids knowing about the effery that I got going on behind closed doors is wild, okay? It's freaking wild. All right. I began to experience a different side of him, okay? During the first hour of Cassie Ventura's testimony, prosecutors have been taking the court through the history of her 11-year on and off again relationship with Sean Diddy Combs. It started with Ventura as a young artist and was, I told y'all, flexually inexperienced, she tells the court, adding that he felt confused by Combs' interest in her at first. As she responds to questions, Ventura, who is about 8 months preggers, is frequently rubbing her stomach and taking long breaths. Eventually, she says the relationship progressed into a romantic one over a series of several trips. At the time, she says she felt like they were in a monogamous relationship, though she knows now that Combs had other girlfriends. But it wasn't long before cracks started to emerge, she said. I began to just experience a different side of him. Combs wanted to control every aspect of her life, from how she looked to how she worked. What else? From how she looked to her work. My bad. When he couldn't reach her immediately, he and his employee will call her incessantly or come and find her in person. His mood would change from calm 1 minute to agitated or angry the next. Okay. Photos from Cassie's laptops and phones shown in court. The prosecutors are now showing Ventura images from laptops, phones, and iPads, she said, provided the government when started this investigation. Some of the photos show her as young as 19 when she first met Combs. So we talking about old pictures proving, that the age range is exactly what she said it to be. Okay, wiping tears from her eyes, Ventura is now describing the first time Combs introduced her to the so-called freak-offs. I remember my stomach falling to my butt. Just the nervousness and confusion. I had just turned 22. Lord. Ventura said it involved hiring a flex court, and Combs would watch her with another man while he directed them. She said she didn't want to participate in the freak-offs, but she did so because she loved him very much and wanted to make him happy. Okay, Ventura tells the jury that she was scared of what he would do if she said no. Physical violence and Combs was always in the back of her mind. She said she told the court Combs blackmailed her in the video of the freak offs to get her to do more, okay? She said Combs is charming and that she didn't want to lose him, and that made it hard to know what she needed, okay? Cassie said Combs will frequently asphalt her. Prosecutor's most consequential witness is now taking the stand. Blase, blase. We're actually moving backwards, if I'm not mistaken. She participated in voyeurism. She asked how often. She replied too frequently. Chow. It's a lot. It's a lot. But like I said before, big shout out to Cassie's husband / baby daddy, because he's a better man than most. He's a better man than most. I know some shady men that don't even want to know the real number to their girls' body counts, let alone to know all of this about her. So we will see how this court situation is going to continue when it comes to Cassie. We're sending out prayers over to Tory Lanez and that situation. Free gang and them for sure, for sure. What else? I still want to see whether or not there's any updates on the Shannon Sharp situation, but it seems like it's gone silent. I don't doubt that it's just a part of the slow judicial system. We'll see how that part continues. And wholeheartedly, it's just a lot of different things happening all together. So we're just going to see where this goes. We're going to stay tuned to see what's happening with the Cassie Diddy trial. I want to see what the other testimonials are going to say. I want to see as far as Tory Lanez situation, whether or not the speaking of the bodyguard is going to help his situation, because I honestly feel like he is 100% innocent. Okay. Let me know in the comments how you felt about these topics. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the Diddy situation, if there's any updates that you want to share, or if you want to share your opinion on it. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez situation. Tory getting hurt in prison, and now somebody speaking on his behalf because he doesn't want to see a black man down. Let me know how you feel about these topics. All right. And thank you so much for watching PYT TV. Respectfully.